Hey, it's Friday. It's time for another Kickstart Your Weekend. We're running slightly late, so we skipped the countdown there. Ooh, something a bit different. I hope you're all well. It's a bit of a crazy time here in the UK with, well, crazy storms and a bit of a chill in the air. But yeah, without further ado, it's time for Kickstart Your Weekend. I hope you've caught up with what we've been doing on Twitch, where we've been running Dungeon Crawl Classics. We've had uh, great success with that. Thank you very much to Judge Zach. We'll bring those episodes into our YouTube channel very soon. And I just wanted to draw attention to your to the fact that we have a competition going on with Purple Sorcerer. If you'd like to win the scenario that we ran as a PDF or several other things that we've got from Purple Sorcerer, then please do check out our competition. All we want you to do is to either in our comments here to basically let us know the name of the character that died first, shouting their own name in the first session of that scenario. I'm stumbling a bit this evening, because I've got lots of rum. So let us know the name of the character that died, screaming their first name or their name in Dungeon Crawl Classics. They've been Pendlebrooke's Perilous Pantry. You can find that on our Twitch. We'll put it up on our YouTube. And let's bring on our friend and guest today, Mr. Bruce. Bruce, how are you doing? You are muted. You're still muted.
No, I yours muted. I was just laughing, going, "Oh, we haven't had one of those bits for a while." Where I start talking to get off mute.
Well, I
All right,
started
am
off
I
by
very
pressing the
quiet?
button with the countdown, so there you go. We are doing well. We're live. It is Friday.
Yeah, yeah.
Cheers.
I blame Eunice and Dudley for it. Yeah.
Totally. I'm completely up with you
Uh,
there. My goodness, what a start. It's been a great week though. We've got some cool stuff in the post, and we will share that on our after party at 9 p.m. over on Twitch. So please join us on Twitch. If you're excited about what we got in the post, if you're excited about any of the projects that we're going to be talking about this evening, then please do hit us with a like. And if you can tolerate my terrible introduction, then please do subscribe, where you can see more terrible introductions. Obviously, we also have Patreon and that sort of stuff, if you're so inclined. And join our Discord, where you can pick on me for my terrible intros. Oh dear. But yeah, okay. We are expecting at least one more guest on the show tonight as well. I think that basically life is conspiring against us this evening. It's been great though. What a day. In fact, here we go. Mr. Paul Cat. Good to see you, my friend.
Evening. Can everybody hear me all right?
What? Yeah. How are you?
Not too bad. Got caught out in the weather that we're having here at the moment.
Yes, it's a bit blustery out, isn't it?
Just a smidge, yes.
It's raining there where you are.
Absolutely hammering it down.
Excellent. Free shower.
Yay.
And Bruce, how are you?
oh, fine. Right. At least it's not as windy. We've kind of pushed that red warning a little further south. By the way.
We have. That's gone past us. Well, in fact, I woke up this morning. We are 5 miles away from that red area, or at least we were this morning. I haven't looked to see where it's headed right now. We've got 3 projects to talk about today, and we're deviating a little bit from what we normally cover, because generally speaking, we only look at tabletop role-playing games. But there's a couple of tabletop games that I think are really cool. One is the it's not even a spiritual successor, it's a direct successor to ICECOOL, where you have little penguins that you ping around a board that's made up of the box and other smaller boxes that the product comes in, and it's like basically a competitive minis game, but with trying to think what like Sabutio almost, in terms of how you move these things around, which is a game where you play with soccer and a little soccer ball and stuff. And we were discussing how we could pronounce this. I think the English pronunciation is probably intentionally Slaine, but probably in Irish Gaelic it's like Slaine or something, and that's set in the 20,000 AD universe. And then from an RPG perspective, there's kind of a baroque fantasy based on Black Hack, where you all play badass, interesting characters that you don't get to choose. Let's start with the Warlord games. Slaine. What do we think?
20,000 AD, did you say? I've gone up in
2000
the.
AD.
Yeah,
It's 10 louder. Cheers.
Far into the future.
Arg. Every time I fluff, I'm going to take a drink. There we go. Speaking
So
of,
this is a drinking game out.
yes,
Oof.
everyone get involved. And speaking of our favourite things to fluff, here's Mr. Doug.
Hey.
Oh, here he is.
I'm not sure how I feel about that remark.
Okay.
Good
Yeah.
evening, y'all. How are you all? Sorry, I'm fashionably late. I forgot what time it was.
You missed my terrible intro today. It all just went horribly wrong. You press the
Sorry.
wrong button and then it'll, you're live. So you just go with it, don't you? So,
That's right. You just roll with the punches. That's all you can do.
all is well here. You've probably seen we've got Storm. What who's it again? Eunice or
It's
Eustace?
Eunice and there's another one. Dudley.
Eunice at the moment. Dudley
we had
was
Dudley,
speak before.
and now
Yeah.
we've got Storm Eunice. That has been she has been ravaging our borders.
Oh,
Yes.
it's not
And
good.
there has been much pillaging along the way. Hopefully, everyone who's watching has not had any, kind of major damage, property, self, or friends or family. It has been very traumatic for a lot of people. I know that. Luckily, no one I know, touch wood, no one I know has been impacted. But yeah,
I'm glad Phil touched his head when he said that.
a wooden hat would suck. I'm
I
sure
mean-
some people have them, but
It's all right, Doug. I got the joke.
I was ignoring it. Let's have a look at Slaine. Yeah. Bruce, I know you're quite heavily invested in this, at least spiritually, if not financially. I don't actually know a great deal about this. We should probably say it's not a Kickstarter, it's a pre-order. And it's based on the 200,000 AD universe. We're just going to go up
Yeah, each time.
by a factor of 10. Yes, it's 2000 AD, but it's like a fantasy setting rather than kind of the pseudo post-apocalyptic sci-fi kind of parallel universe setting that the like 2000 AD Judge Dredd stuff is still normally set in. What can you tell me about it?
The first thing is this is the third Warlord games of the 2000 AD. Sorry, I just feel we should get lower for some reason with the numbers. With
200 AD. It's probably more accurate.
200 AD, yeah. We'll get to 2 AD actually. But this is their first. I think actually I was having a look. This is the first skirmish game featuring Slaine of the comic character. There have been miniatures of Slaine, but they've never been an actual miniatures game. I do know you can get them as a little cast of in the Helter Skelter one, but you've got Dread, Strontium Dog, which are other big names of the 2000 AD comic. So I'm quite excited about this because this is one. It's one of the most popular comics. It was actually when we had Schwarzenegger, Conan doing Conan in the 80s. 2000 AD did Slaine, which is based on the Irish mythology of Macorith, and really quite like it. Kiss My Axe is a big quote from that as well. So no surprise they've got it. The system is the same as they've already done Strontium Dog and Judge Dredd as games, so you can get them as well. It's the same sort of system. You've got a small warband. You can have a little punch up of another warband. The game mechanics is you're going to pull out for initiative out of dice chips out of a bag. You've got some playing cards that give you some additional abilities, but you're not just doing the whole punch up. They try and take the stories from the most popular stories from the comics and try and replay them as like mini campaigns. But what I really like is the miniatures that they're doing, which are coming out in the resin. And
very cool.
You said both I'm invested both spiritually and financially. I went in what we would all call the equivalent of the Phil level with this. So this is yeah. You can't wait. It's 2018. I don't think I've ever not gone on a Phil level.
Nice.
So let's have a look and see what that means. So that means, I would presume the all-in launch bundle.
That's not bad though.
No, not for resin.
No, that's what I was expecting it to be like 300.
Yeah, I mean you're basically being a lightweight here, Bruce.
Yeah, I think you could add like another one of these to your shopping cart.
Yeah. In fact, I think you need to see if they have it in multiple languages, and then you can just make sure that you support your international friends when they visit.
It's exactly
you
roughly
know what
half the price of the Borderlands one was.
Yeah, this one will be good.
It should come up with tartan paint. It should totally come up with little tubes of tartan paint.
But which tartan? All of the tartans.
Oh, all of the tartans,
Yeah.
From Black Watch Player to
tartan is a complete bitch to paint as well, particularly on a small, like a 28mm mini. It's so hard, even if you're just trying to do sort of like a vague, kind of checker.
So does this come with 4 warbands?
Let's have a look.
Well, at that level, you've got 3 key warbands.
Yeah,
3 key ones. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see that.
Bruna and Fomorian.
And the starter set's just giving you basically a couple of side Slaine and a couple of the well-known side companions, which is ICECOOL the Dwarf and I've forgotten her name. Druha. It'll be actually mentioned. She's in there as well. But you get 2 versions of Slaine. You get Slaine as normal and Warp Spasm Slaine.
Warp Spasm.
Great. Yeah.
Let's see if we can have a good look at some of these minis because I managed to get the pictures in big and they are pretty damn cool.
So is the starter set enough for 2 people to play, or is it just to get one person all up and running? It is. There's enough there for 2 people.
Yep.
Okay.
There is enough there for 2 people, and you get a little bit of scenery as well.
I like that. Yeah.
But you've got also, because they're doing multiple pledges, you might want one of the warbands instead.
Right.
So they've got a pledge for that. So you can get the warband separately, or you can get the starter kit and one of the warbands. They're also giving away a limited edition with the figure of Slaine in the bundle as well. But one thing, you were going back, I want to really quickly touch back on the tartan. One of the things, I was having a look at the 3D sculpts. I can't find an image of it. But what I'm hoping they've done is etched the tartan pattern on the resin.
The tartan pattern?
In a way that when you're painting, the tartan pattern. Everybody knows it's a tartan pattern. You can just sort of hopefully paint it in, because you're right, it is a pain to try and paint right. But when I was starting to look at the 3D sculpts, it looks like they've actually etched it into the mold for the mold.
Wow.
So I'm hoping that when you come to paint them, you can just get the little bumps and grooves to get that right. But again, I won't find out until we get them. Otherwise, it's time to buy tartan paint.
So yeah, the other way you could do this, if you really wanted to, you get the starter set, and you can get it with a warband as well. So if you don't get it with a warband, do you still have enough for a one-on-one? Is that still doable? Do we know? Let's have a look. So
you're just going to be playing with main characters,
right? but that's still enough to do a little bit of a fight with. Yeah, but you don't get a warband as such. And then you have the options with your warbands as well. It does look like it's. I'm just looking to see if you can work out how much that warband is. There we go, 25 quid. So if you really wanted to, you could get them individually. You can get the starter set. There's no real logic to get just the starter set and a warband separately because you have the bundles. But if you wanted to get one of each of the warbands and the starter set, then you're looking at 165. So that's 75, 80, 90. So there's a bit of extra because you get all these as well. It's not bad.
Yeah, no,
it's definitely on par with Games Workshop.
Yeah, no, it's
good.
Well, oddly enough, with Warlord Games, they used to be ex Games Workshop, and they're just down.
I think they're in Nottingham, aren't
they? Yeah, Nottingham's kind of technically our mecca of miniature gaming in the UK for it. The other thing as well with Slaine, given its time period setting, because Warlord also do the historical games, they've got in negative 2 BC.
Negative 2 BC would be 2 AD.
2 AD, yeah. Because they do the historical games of the Romans and Boadicea, and they featured in the comic stories.
Right.
You can take those miniatures and apply them to the. I wouldn't be surprised you could apply them to the game.
Oh, nice.
They did that with one of the Strotium dogs. They did an adventure because one of the comic stories was they go back in time to basically capture Hitler alive so he can actually face punishment for his crimes in the future and be actually properly punished. That's one of the things where you just got your World War II bolt action and just play them, and you can mix and match. I think the figures are a little bit bigger. They're probably a bit more 30 mil, and I'm basing that because I own the Judge Dredd and Strotium dog ones. But again, and as long as you don't have a big OCD-ness, they do look really good.
They should be bigger.
I just really like it what's
coming out with you because they're better.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I mean, they should be. Yeah. They should tower over your Warhammer stuff. I mean, actually, no, they wouldn't, would they? But maybe your night model stuff.
Not Warhammer. They've got a horrible screw.
They should all look bigger than your Batman minis, for example. I think it's really cool. I think if you're into fantasy wargaming, it's a really nice alternative to what we already have. There's not a lot. I mean, they do exist. Myos Miniatures do Celtic and similar miniatures wargaming as well. Their system is quite complex. I don't know what the system is like on this, but I can imagine it's a bit more accessible and a little bit more pulpy probably than the Myos is, for example.
Yep.
Check it out. I mean, you know, there's quite a lot of information on the website. That's already linked below as well. I think I've just linked straight to this page here that's got all the information, but obviously if you go into the store, you can find the pre-orders. So yeah, please do give it a look-see. And yeah, it does look like a lot of fun. Have any of you looked at Fléaux yet?
I just actually backed it because you said we were going to talk about it, and it looks really interesting. Yeah. And I love the fact that as soon as the campaign's over, they're sending out the PDF. And yeah, it's got a pretty cool design aesthetic, and the price point is right there. And
the price point is great.
Yeah,
it is great. So Fléaux is I'm just going to read it, a baroque fantasy RPG where you play as scoundrels trying to survive in a dangerous world. I mean, you know, that's just kind of cool to begin with. I love the artwork. It's based on Black Hack 2E. I've got a copy of the Black Hack. I still haven't managed to read it because everything, as we all know, is packed up for me to move house. But it's something I really want to get to the table. The system is really cool. It's OSRE, but it's a roll under D20 game. And one of my favorite things about this is it embraces the things that I really like about games like Dungeon Crawl Classics, and also Electric Bastion Land is a good example of this as well, where effectively you're rolling up your character, and your role also produces your background for your character. Because we don't have classes here, but as they describe here, for example, your character's definition is defined by origin, upbringing, occupation, and the crime they've been accused of, which means that your ogre-blooded adventurer who grew up in a traveling circus and worked as a thumb breaker is now on a wanted poster because they threatened an inquisitor. I just think that's fun. I think I'm a big fan of having your character decided for you.
And then just running with it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's much more challenging as a role player to just be told, you are this, and now you have to find who that person is in-game. I think that's great. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I this somehow flew underneath my radar. I didn't even see it pop up. So I'm glad that you brought it to my attention.
And just spend your money, Doug.
Hey, like I said, the price point is right there. The downside that I think that it has is, of course, they're going to be doing a print on demand through Drive-Through RPG, which is fine. I mean, it's only like 100 pages or something, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not going to be a huge, it'll be fine for what the quality of the book will be fine for what it is. I'm excited. Yeah, I think it's good. I forget what the price point is for pledging, but you can pledge just for the PDF. You can pledge to get the PDF and then a print on demand code. And I'll give it a shot.
As far as to say the PDF is underpriced. $7 for PDF. I'd like to see PDFs going up.
I think that came up to like $10 or $11 for me, which isn't too bad.
Yeah.
I think the print on demand was 20 or something, close to that. Maybe it was 18 or something. I can't remember.
Code to order $12. $12. 12 euros. So yeah, like $15 or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The layout looks really cool.
It looks a little more Borgish, which is fine. That sells. I'm curious. I've spent more money on worse products. Let's put it that way. I'm willing to take a chance on this.
That to be the case, but we're presuming it will be that you've spent money on worse products. We'll find out when it lands. I backed this the moment I saw it. I'll be honest. I have backed it at the print on demand level, because I just find that I tend to absorb role-playing games better if I'm reading them on paper.
As do I.
Even though when it comes to running, I'll always use a PDF. Just one of those things. But I think that the artwork is really interesting. Yeah, and by the sound of it, it's basically done.
Yeah,
they're proof stage, so they'll send the proof out. We tell them what's spelled wrong, and they'll go and fix that, and then they'll send us a print on demand code if that's the route you're going to. Paul, you've been incredibly silent. What do you think?
I think the cover looks absolutely amazing. I'm a big fan of that character sheet as well. Totally in agreement there. It does look very much like they're trying to do a sort of a Mork Bork type of a thing. But yeah.
Also reminds me a little bit, I don't know why, of Blades in the Dark in terms of styling. I'm not quite sure why. Certainly the typesetting in these sorts of pages is definitely more Borgy.
I do definitely agree with you on that one. I like the idea of the random character generator. That's something that I've just not been able to fathom out for my own game. So that sort of thing definitely looks like it could be fun to use.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I do want to get Electric Bastion Land to the table, partly just because I want to see what characters people end up with. And it's one of the reasons why I really enjoy Dungeon Crawl Classics as well, as I said. I just like random stuff. I don't like running a game and using random rolls throughout the game to see what happens next so much, because I'm not a very good improvisational GM. But I mean, that's a failing on, maybe not a failing, but that's something I just need to practice more. But I would still quite happily kind of prep doing that. But yeah, I really enjoy playing characters that I haven't had a great deal of say in and finding who that is. So that's certainly one for me. And it's always fun to see what people bring to the table once they've received their character sheet or created their character and just kind of gone, okay, right, I better find them. What do you think, Bruce?
I tell you what, while we've all been talking, I've just backed it. I quite like that idea.
That's really fun.
Someone in the chat's
You're
done
a
the same
bad
as well.
influence, Phil. You're a bad influence.
Yeah, Yoel has done the same thing. We should just formally say hi to Yoel and also to Mohammed. Really, really great to see you. Please keep the comments rolling in. We are live, and we always like to kind of keep that conversation flowing. So yeah, if you like the look of that game, then please do hit us up with a thumbs up. I really, really do think it's cool. I mean, I could just go to town looking at some of this stuff, even though there's not a great deal of information. The world, 30 years war with animated skeleton armies, ancient ruins, political intrigues, pirates. Each kingdom and empire comes with 6 adventure seeds, which is great.
The other thing that I loved was 20 pages. They said like 20 pages of it were setting, and then 80 pages of it are bestiary.
Yeah, 80 creatures.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and an adventure. I mean, you know, I don't get a game to the table if there's not an introductory adventure, because I find it hard to piece together how the world is intended to breathe. So that's really important for me. Yeah, it looks great. And yeah, let's just double check. So £6, €7. So yeah, about $10 probably for the PDF, and not very much more for a print on demand. I'd imagine if that's paperback, you're probably looking at probably £4 or £5. If it's
I think they said how much it is down the bottom. Yeah. Okay, around $20 US.
$60. So maybe that's a hardcover then. I'm not too sure.
Which still, I mean, you don't have to get the print on demand. Like, you don't have to pay for that. Yeah. I just usually like to, like, if it's only a few dollars more, you might as well just, then you've got that option if you do want to get an actual physical copy.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be all over the print on demand. You know, you don't have to use it.
Right.
But, you know, it's a really nice thing to have. I think it's really cool. Really do. Wow, we're rattling through these really quickly. So that gives us a little bit of extra time to talk about our third product on the roster. I'm actually really excited about. I'm really excited about this. I know Doug probably isn't.
I'll let you do your thing, and then I'll come in with.
You're gonna say it's not Sabutio. I don't know. Did he get Sabutio out there in the US? Like a flickable soccer game. It was huge in the UK.
Yeah, we've got ICECOOL, which is from the same publisher.
Yeah, it's like
and ICECOOL is fine. It's and people, a lot of people like it.
Let's have a look at the video.
From the creators of ICECOOL, taking dexterity games to the next level. Iron Forest. The world of Nemos once lived in peace and prosperity. However, one day, the Iron Forest, long silent, rose into the sky. Now, the world of Nemos is under threat. Iron Force, looking to reclaim its technology, or animal clans, protecting their homeland from invasion. Which side will you choose? Choose your team, Iron Force or Animal Clans. Select a scenario. Activate mechas. Flick it. Launch it. To achieve your team's goals, join the action today.
So there we go. And yeah, so basically it's like ICECOOL but you have these little mechas that are like Sabutio figures, as I said before, or like the penguins in ICECOOL, and you have various challenges that you need to overcome. I really like the art style. We didn't buy ICECOOL, so that probably makes it easier for us to see this as a good alternative. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to hear your thoughts, Doug.
So let me just preface this by saying that Brain Games does some great games, and this is not, ICECOOL is really
quality, etc.
Yeah, no, this isn't me saying that this isn't going to be a fun game. This is more than likely going to be a very fun game. ICECOOL is very fun. I'm saying for me and my everything that this game is, as far as the theme, like mechs and like battling mechs, like that should be something that I would love to get to the table. And when I saw the ad for this, I was like, oh my God, what is this? I couldn't wait to see it because I saw ads for it even before, and I saw press before it even hit Kickstarter. And then I saw it was a dexterity game.
Mm-hmm.
And dexterity games, for me, I found a lot depends on the people that you're playing with.
Yeah.
Like some people really love dexterity games and some people can't stand them. My wife is one.
I'm in the latter.
Yeah, my wife can't stand dexterity games. And so like I know I would back this, and it would come in, and it would never get played because I would have to wait until I got to a convention to play it, because like nobody around here would want to play a dexterity game because there's just too much to, I don't know. Some people just don't like the randomness, and some people don't like the fact that dexterity games, sometimes it depends on the skill of the player and how good that they are at that. And so it just,
I get that. If you're not practicing and practicing and practicing, then probably for you, it's always going to feel random.
Right.
And the way out of that is to play it a lot. If you don't have the interest to do that and someone else at the table does, it's going to get unfair very quickly.
I love the fact that this is two levels, and that it kind of adds another, like kind of adds more complexity to ICECOOL, which is really cool. Pardon the pun, but what is it? It's like $85, I think. Which I'm not gonna say isn't gonna be worth it, because I know it will be because of the quality of the product that they usually put out. But for me, $85, like if this were like a $50 game or less, okay, yeah, I would probably bring it in and probably wait until I can get some friends together that actually like dexterity games, and that a fun night out with your friends, drinking and playing dexterity games, and that would be fun. But for me, it just wouldn't get to the table enough to especially if at $85. I'd have to try to find. I'd rather give $85 to like two RPG, like the pledge that we, the campaign we just saw before that. I'd rather back a couple of those, that I know I would enjoy reading and enjoy, at least maybe getting to the table at some point.
I totally get what you're saying. Well, last week, I think it was last week. Must have been. We looked at One More Quest, which is another kind of it's a dexterity RPG.
Dexterity RPG. Yep.
And this isn't the right word, but I'm struggling to find the right one. But there's like a romanticism of the idea of, we'll get that to the table and we'll have friends over and it will be really cool and we'll have a lot of fun. And that will probably happen once, maybe twice. And then you'll get to a point where at least one or two people will have been kind of fed up of it, and probably the GM is one of them, and then that's not great. And I can see how, if you've got the right group of people, ICECOOL and Iron Forest are both very much the sort of game that you could probably bring out week after week, play for half an hour, do a mission, and then you're on to the next thing. I do actually think that it would be great as not a drinking game, but a game to play when drunk.
Definitely.
Again, you need to have the right people around, and I totally get it. As someone who is very, very busy and doesn't often get time to sort of hang out with friends and play games, it will have not a limited lifetime, but maybe a limited opportunity to actually get played, and you won't necessarily get your money's worth, even if it's good value and a well-made product, which it will be.
Right. I mean, this kind of gave me flashbacks to earlier when I was at Gen Con this year.
Mhm.
One of our friends took out Kabuto Sumo, which is a dexterity
Mhm.
game where you're like pushing little
Yeah,
wooden discs and
really
stuff
hiding.
onto a platform. Super fun. When we were at Gen Con and there were like all 5 of us were sitting around a table and we were just kind of making fun of each other and talking smack to each other and it was a lot of fun. And so I played it. I loved it. I'm like, oh my God, this game is available at Gen Con. I'm going to pick up a copy. I'm going to bring it home and we're going to play it. It'll be super fun because it was so much fun playing with my friends. And then I brought it home and it just didn't go over well at all. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'll have to pack this away for when I'm going to be at a convention and, you know.
And at least that, I mean, I'm trying to remember the size of the box for that.
Yeah, that was only like a $35 game. It is really, again, another really great quality game. Yeah, it's a little small, a small box.
Whereas this, I think, is going to be quite a big, hefty box. I mean, looking at, I'll bring the thing back up. I mean, that gives you an idea, and that is not as small as it looks right there. I mean, that I think that's good. It's a good foot and a half off the table, effectively. I can't recall if they've got any pictures of it with scale to show, but it is not a small product, which is great. But
at a convention, it's going to look amazing.
Yeah, I imagine they're going to sell a bunch of these at Expo or Gen Con or
absolutely
whatever.
This is a game that is going to shine like crazy when it's demoed.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can see the size of the baseboard here.
Yeah.
Without actually putting the upper level up, which would be like up where his head is, basically, which is probably why the photo is without that. Yeah, so you get quite a lot for your money. Let's have a quick scroll through. It's a Kickstarter exclusive.
Right, so $85 at his base level.
No, there's one. I think there's one level.
Is it just one? Is it? Yeah, it is.
And the early board.
Yeah,
early bird. And yeah, for $85, you get quite a lot of stuff, but you also get add-ons. So I'm just scrolling to see. So you get an upper board and a lower board. Convenient. You get a launcher, some clips, some risers, black holders. You get a bunch of miniatures. I think there's 8 miniatures in total, 4 for each team. And cards. I mean, these are fun. I mean, I've seen some of the demo videos of the product. They're just using 3D printed versions. And yeah, it still looks good. You can see the layers on the 3D prints, though, for some of them. And then you get scenarios. So it's kind of interesting that there's missions instead of it just being the same thing every time. I can imagine it's a real limit, and after a while it might get a bit samey, though. Power-ups, where I think you can kind of collect them along the way, and you can deploy them on the boards to do different things. A bunch of dice, markers, objective markers. I'm not too sure what makes this different as a Kickstarter exclusive, or if it's never going to get to retail, which would surprise me.
I would be surprised if it goes to retail.
You think it's just going to be too big and too?
I think the price point's going to be too big. Again, like I said, this is one of those games that looking at it on a shelf is going to be a hard sell.
Yeah,
you have to see it in action.
Yeah, and so maybe it's the kind of thing they'll have it at conventions, and that'll be the only time you can get it, and then maybe they'll reissue it at some point.
Or the price point is a deal breaker for me on that one.
Yeah,
understandable. The stretch goals, cards, bombshells to catapult, and yeah, they've not gotten that far through their stretch goals. 120,000. I misread this as an exclusive enamel butt pin.
That's where you want to put it.
Not really. Let's see. What do we say? What do we have in the comments? Let's have a look.
I like yours.
Does it come with an extra room for your flat? Definitely.
Well, luckily you can build an extra room with all those little boxes that you can form the board.
So you just need to do that, and then you need to get core space for your furniture, and then you're done, right?
There you go.
I really like it. I think it's a great looking product. It is expensive. As we said, there's only one pledge, which is $85. That's about, according to Kickstarter, that's 63 Earth pounds here in the UK.
Do they say how much the shipping is going to be, or they estimate the shipping will be?
That's a very good question. I don't know, but we can find out.
I'm assuming it won't be all that much, because if it's a lot of just boxes and those little bits and bobs, I think, I don't think that that's going to be a whole lot of.
In the UK, they're using ShipQuest.
Yeah.
And it's $14. Continental US is 21.
Okay,
that's not
so it basically puts it over $100. It's almost $110 if you get in the US.
So you need to really have a group,
family
or otherwise, that are gonna be wanting to play that. So I guess if you've got young kids or kind of,
like for me, like I look at this game and I'm like, oh man, that would be so much fun to bring to our local gaming convention, because people would. I'd love to set it up and just get random people to play it, because I think it would be super fun. But that would be the only time I would be able to get it to the table.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I struggle hard enough just to get Nemesis to the table at the moment. It's still a weird time, just generally as well. So, even if you've got a trusted friends that you can play, games with that are COVID safe, for example, it still feels weird. That's not going away, and board games don't help with that, because obviously you're sharing those components with everyone, and even though you know that you're going to be fine for whatever reason, it still feels really, really strange to be sharing that space with people and being physically near to people. Well, at least for me, it does. Don't know how you guys feel at this point. Kind of everyone is kind of going back into offices and stuff now as well, so it's beginning to feel a little bit more normal, but nothing has quite gotten back to the way it was, shall we say. But I do think that it's going to be for the right group. That looks like quite a fun game. Bruce, what do you think?
I was looking at it, but one of the things that I was looking at is one of the components. Do you guys remember crossbows and catapults? Or the old board games? And what really gets me is that flip thing. How much wear and tear can the take? That was the bit that was getting me, because I can get like ICECOOL, because it's all one level and you fly around and you've got that.
And it's cheap.
We'd like to talk about Speedo, and that does last. But that whole level with the flip thing, that's the bit that really kind of makes me question, especially when you're paying that price. It's that how much wear and tear, especially when you've got small kids who are just, what do they want to do? I just want to ping this. This is great. I don't care about the game. I just want to ping little things and catapult them. So that would be a little put for me. So I'll be doing what I usually do with a board game like that. I'll wait till someone buys it and brings it to a convention. I'll go and play it at a convention.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure I will. I will see it. Yeah, I will see it. A copy of it.
It does make me kind of feel more inclined to go back and just bloody buy ICECOOL though, because I haven't done that yet.
ICECOOL's fun. Yeah, no, I'm. If you haven't played it, you should play it.
Price probably at this point.
Yeah.
So if you love ICECOOL and you want more of that, and you want multi-level, and you've got people that love that game, then check Iron Forest out.
I think people that like ICECOOL, that want more of a gaming experience. That's why this game is so popular right now on Kickstarter.
Yeah, makes total sense. Is there anything else? We've got 10 minutes left before we have to depart this live stream and head on over to the after party on Twitch. Is there anything else that anyone wants to talk about that's currently funding? Say now or however hold.
I've got one thing. If nobody else, I don't want to monopolize the time though. So,
I mean, you haven't been on for a while.
I haven't. So there's actually two things that I really like, but I'm going to go to my first one, which I think really needs some support and love. If you can go to the last war, can you go to that?
Yeah, I can find that.
So this is from the same person that made this right here. This is Forbidden Psalm. This is a minis agnostic solo co-op 1v1 miniatures agnostic tabletop skirmish game that uses the Mork Borg system. And actually you can use this as like a RPG supplement as well, which is really super cool. So not only do you get to use the use it as rules for miniatures wargaming and skirmish gaming, but you can use it as an RPG supplement as well. This is like what is it, like it's after like a world war, and it basically takes like if you're a fan of Never Going Home, that type of thing, where it's like what do you want to call it, like kind of like horror and like I don't know.
Should we check out the video? We've got a couple.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't think the video does it all that well, but go ahead, check it out.
Already a good start.
Though many tales of black eyes and broken window panes come to raise ears as the years go by, that he is having vision the world is waiting for the sunrise.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I don't think the video is just kind of gives you kind of the aesthetic more than anything else. But I love
anything else to Merkbury than the aesthetic.
Well, I mean, that's true.
But
it's fun. Like I said, it uses it's miniatures agnostic. I really love Forbidden Psalm. I think it's a lot of fun. It's not a huge table hog. It plays on a 24 by 24 space. It's a D20 system. It's pretty easy. You can pretty much just set it up and play it within like a half hour if you really want to play out a scenario. I'm excited to see what is it, KRP Studio? I forget what the design studio is for this. KRD Designs. It's just one guy just doing this, which is pretty cool. And
I really am a big fan of minis agnostic miniatures games. I haven't really managed to get any to the table, but I've been umming and ahhing about Rangers of Shadowdeep on for years for a similar reason. We have so many minis, and certainly if you've obviously this is kind of a world war scenario, but if you've got any kind of army miniatures, they'd probably work really well with this by the look of things.
Right. And I don't know. I think it's kind of neat. I backed the last like campaign / source book for Forbidden Psalm, and I'm just digging what this guy's making. Like I think it's super cool. I think it's super rad. Yeah. He's not putting out a miniatures line with it. It's just him just selling these books that are supplements that can also be that not only can you use them for miniatures gaming, you can use them as RPG supplements, and I dig it. I think that's one of the things that we need that this whole Mork Borg community needs is people doing unique stuff instead of just kind of making the same things over and over and over again.
I agree. The fill level for people who haven't played before is £80. That'll get you hardcover of the last.
It gets you everything.
It gets you the original core book, which I missed out on, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And then soft cover versions of everything. And then you're looking at if you already have all that stuff and you just need this book, then 25 quid for the hardcover, 15 quid for the soft cover, 9 quid underpriced in my opinion for the PDF. And check it out. It's cool.
I think like the majority of the game is all written they're just like creating some of the stretch goal stuff. Yeah, I think the delivery date was April of this year, which is only a couple months away. I will say that the last Kickstarter they backed with him, I think he delivered early, which was cool. And it's all delivered through Exalted Funeral or wherever. I think there's someplace else in Europe that delivers for them. So it's not like this is just, their first rodeo. They know what needs to be done. And yeah, priced right. And I'm a big fan of this designer.
Check it out. Let us know what you think. One quick reminder, we're doing a giveaway for Purple Sorcerer PDFs for Nebin, Pendlebrooke's Perilous Pantry, and various other things for Dungeon Crawl Classics. All you have to do if you want to take part in that is to tweet us the name of the character that died in the first episode of our DCC live stream, which is currently available on Twitch. The character who died shouting his own name in the first episode. It's fucking easy to work it out. Hint. We've got some people who've tweeted it, so you can probably just retweet them, and we'll take that. We just want to make sure that you're wanting to take part in the competition. Really, tweet it, maybe type it in the comments if you want, or come and join us on Discord and just shout it at us there in the thread that we've got in the DCC channel there, open to everyone. We'll be announcing the winners on Friday, the last Friday in February. So. On the Kickstart Your Weekend show. If you're watching live, we will be heading over and possibly joined with others from our patron community to our Twitch after party. That starts in 7 minutes time at 9 p.m. UK or UTC, 10 p.m. Central European. So that makes it 4 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, come on over. We're probably just going to talk rubbish until we get bored. It's normally what happens. But I think it'd be really cool to hear what Doug has to say about the Book of Boba Mandalorian Fett.
Oh, I can go all out on that. If you want to make a whole show about that, we could do that. But I'm not going to do that.
But Paul hasn't watched it yet, so we might have to.
Paul hasn't watched it?
No, I'm still halfway through The Witcher. As soon as I finish that, I'm going to move on.
I'm not going to spoil it for Paul. I'll let Paul watch it.
So, but we can ruin The Witcher for him because he's halfway through it. So.
No. You can find out what other Mork Borg project I'm backing on Kickstarter right now.
We can talk all about that. I'm kind of inclined. I mean, there are some zines I'm going to talk about next week, one of which does include Mork Borg. But I'm kind of disinclined towards putting a lot of airtime into Mork Borg and Mothership products right now because they all do so well, and rightly so. They're all brilliant. But every now and then something kind of pops his head up, and we know we have to big it up because it's really cool. So come on over to Twitch. I will just share the link on the banner down here somewhere. There we go. Twitch.tv/The Dark Orb UK. We do have quite a lot of these after parties that we've done now, but there's only a limited history available on Twitch. So if you want to see all the others, join our Patreon, and you'll be able to get links to all the previous shows. But we will see those of you who are live in about 5 minutes. So until then, thanks so much for your time, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, please hit like, please hit subscribe. And until we see you again in a couple of minutes' time, I hope any dice rolls that you do are better than mine. Take care, everyone.